Good morning. Welcome to the capital of Tonga. I'm currently just out on this pier looking at the lovely South Pacific scenery around me, and also this big old wharf setting here. But I'm here in the capital, just here for a day, for a bit of a stopover. Got in last night, a bit later than I wanted to, thanks to a nice delayed flight from Qantas. Cheers guys. And so yeah, a little bit later than I wanted to turning in, but I'm here now and it is currently Sunday. For those of you who don't know, Sundays in Tonga means essentially the entire country shuts down. No working, just culturally enforced relaxation. So go hang out with some friends, get some good food. So currently I'm onto the hunt for food in a second. There is a few places I can get some stuff while I'm in the capital here, luckily. But for the moment, just chilling and relaxing. And then tomorrow I'll be making my way out to a little island just off the shorelines called Ewa. It's about a 10-minute flight, possibly the shortest flight on the planet. But I'll be getting over there and I'll be spending the week out there doing my whale guide training. So for coming into training in season, it's coming up to the whale swimming season and I have to get my license. Every 3 years I have to come back and get it renewed. So it's coming up to that time again. I have to come back, do my stint out here. So we'll spend the week out there just learning if any rules or anything change, but mainly just getting a renewal on essentially what's to go with the whale swimming, what's required, what I have to do in the water, and what sort of laws I have to obey. And if anything's changed, I get a bit of an upgrade at the same time. So this island I'm heading to is going to be really cool to spot. Hopefully I'll get a chance to jump in the water and show you some of the ocean around there. It's pretty rough seas out there as I flew over, so you know, see what happens. But enough about that. I am going to get back into town over there and try and find myself a feed. Good luck, I guess. See you soon. Alright, so made it across, finally. It took a little bit of a mucking around to get here, but since I arrived in town on a Saturday, that means Sunday nothing's happening. And it was around midday Sunday that I found out that my airline ticket had a bunch of errors on it, which meant that I'd be on the flight coming back from Ewa, not the flight going to Ewa. So that was a really unfortunate mix-up. Lucky I managed to last minute, literally with 2-3 minutes left before the ferry left. I managed to get a ride from a buddy, get down to the wharf and jump on before that left, and got the ferry across. It's a pretty easy passage, it's like 2 hours, you know, crossing across a bit of open water, but yeah, otherwise it's an easy trip. It's actually a lot cheaper getting the ferry across than it is getting a plane. And yeah, I figured I would just give you a bit of an update on what's been going on the past 2 days since I got here. Picked this nice little patch, got some nice pine trees and a couple horses hanging out. So just figured I'd use this spot to make a bit of a video. So yeah, the past couple of days we have just been doing first aid training. All the guides, all the skippers have to run through it as part of the training course for whale swimming in Tonga. Everyone's got to have their first aid, the CPR, all that sort of stuff current. And then over the course of the next few days we have got some whale biology lessons coming up, learning a few of the bits and pieces of what's going on with anatomy, and some really cool information that we can share to our guests as part of being a good tour guide. Then we also have how to be a tour guide, essentially, how to present the right information on the boat, how to look after your guests. Then after that, we've got a few practical exercises, just going through some swimming drills, you know, some stuff with rescue in the water, a few things about how leading your group in the water, how to correctly lead up to the whales and not spook them off, not create any uncomfortable or dangerous situations. And yeah, then finally we have rules and regulations. This year there are some changes to the rules. So it's very important that you know, everyone's on top of everything. Everyone's just, you know, getting the new information in. There is a big change this year on the rules, something which has been coming for a little bit. I'll give you a bit of an update on that once I get it all cleared away and once I have all the, you know, finer details of information. But yeah, that's coming a bit later in the week. So for the next couple of days, I'm just chilling out on this lovely tropical island, and yeah, more updates coming soon. See you soon. Alrighty, good afternoon everyone. Just got a bit of a break in the day, so I figured I would do a little touch up and just tell you what's been going on. So we just finished our morning practical run. Decided to come down to the beach here at Blue Water Retreat and just chill on the sand, watch a bit of the waves and swell crashing in behind me. It's lovely blue deep water just off the back there, so it's a nice little place to set up. So yeah, yesterday we pretty much jumped on in and we were just getting run through a few of the basics by one of the local guys here, Mark. He was just running through a few of the general ideas about being a good tour guide. So just what's responsible, how to treat your guests correctly, how to manage any problems that may arise, and then a lot about just planning and putting a day together. You get down to the boat, what do you do? What's your schedule for getting through the day? And then going through just the basics of what a potential customer might look like, what are their needs, dietary requirements, do they have any health issues, are they a good swimmer, do they need any equipment, all that sort of general checklist that you would have on board your vessel for the day. And then it's just running through the basics of just going through that, why that's important. And yeah, it's one of those common things that if you're an operator out here doing day trips, people forgetting like a mast or fins can be a real nightmare scenario, especially if you're not prepared for it. So a lot of us, we pack spares just simply for that. So we ran through a lot of stuff there. We had a bit of a practice scenario, just getting everyone up and running through, just talking and presenting to the group. A lot of these guys here are new guides, so they're really working on their presentation skills, especially for the local guides. It's really important they get a very strong command of the English language, because a lot of their guests are going to be internationals as well. So it's really important that they be able to communicate correctly and get the message across about safety and how they want to be operating in the water. So yeah, bit of fun with that. Everyone was having a good laugh at it, just having a bit of fun playing around with doing all their presenting. And then yeah, had a little bit of a breather. Then afternoon session, we're focusing a little bit more on just how your responsibilities as a guide, essentially. We have a very precious resource here in Tonga with the whale migration. It's a very important part for the local economy, and it's very important that we treat it with respect. And it's one of the few countries where we have a very well-regulated, organised whale swimming industry. So it's very important that we treat it with respect. We go out, we do the correct stuff, and we also impart that onto our guests that it's not just a prop for your photo. It is it's a large animal. It's basically something that's up here during one of the most important aspects of their reproductive cycle. So it's very important that you treat it with respect. You allow them the space, and if they don't want you there, we just leave them alone. It's a very, very important thing that we have to focus on when doing the guiding up here, being very eco-conscious with how we approach ourselves and how we present ourselves to our guests and customers. So it's one of those things that's really important. We had a really good run through that, just going through all the basics, then also touching on just a few things about how boats and how skippers are supposed to handle certain situations. Also the what's considered illegal in the country, things which you aren't allowed to have in the water, flashes, strobes, diver scooters, jet skis, like all that sort of stuff. What's the rules for private vessels, like all that sort of general rules and things which everyone should understand if they're going to be operating in the country. So yeah, going through all that basic stuff there. It was a good little Arvo run through, and then we kicked off early this morning, starting off with our ocean practicals. Went down to the ferry harbour, jumped in the water there, and we're pretty much just doing our swimming tests, covering a lot of distance, stuff with our fins off first up, then swimming a bunch of laps, then fins on, swimming even more laps, and then doing a bit of a treading water drill, followed by stuff around rescues. So getting a whole life ring with a bit of rope to it and flinging it off the side of the jetty, basically getting some practice with everyone, retrieving me and Erez back in the water, and then going through that, moved into more rescue training. So just teaching everyone how to get in the water, how to actually recover them, how to tow divers back and forth, and just how to actually help people in an emergency, which is a really important skill to have. Not many people really think, oh, how hard can it be to move someone through the water? If you don't have the right technique, it can actually be quite difficult. So it was really good running through that. Yeah, it's something really cool to see. A lot of the guys smashed through all their requirements. It's cool because compared to last time I came to this course, this time around there's a lot of local guides and local skippers coming on board, which is fantastic. Got a lot of young guys coming on as well. It's a course of about 20 people here. More than 3/4 of the course are locals. So they're local to Awa here, or they're from Tongatapu. So it's really cool to see just all that local engagement, more and more young people getting involved in the industry. Yeah, it's something really awesome to see that all develop up from when I first started coming here. So yeah, we finished up that for today. Practical done there. Tomorrow we are probably looking at going over a few more things just involved about guiding and directing our whale groups around. And then next week we're going to be looking at rules and regulations and doing our final exam. But for the afternoon, we've just got a little bit more of break time, and then we're going to pick up again our local whale guide and marine biologist Mark Tilley. He's also a great freediver. He's going to be running through just all the basics of marine biology. So the guides and skippers understand a lot more about what the whales are doing up here, how they behave, how they socialize, and just how to read their body language as well. And then also, what's a good little thing, once we understand all this a lot better, you can also impart that onto your guests. And you can show them like, hey, this is why they do this. This is why they do this. It's just about, having that little bit of knowledge and really helping yourself be able to educate your guests, which is something that's the more information, the better. So yeah, we're gonna have a good little afternoon running through all that presentation, and then tomorrow morning kick off again with a bit more practical. But I am getting cooked alive under this tree, even though I'm in a nice shady patch. This sand is just baking me away, and I think I'm sitting on an ant nest. So we'll pick up again tomorrow sometime once I get through all the other stuff. So yeah, catch you then. Alrighty guys, just get myself into some sun. Just down here on the local little rock platform. And yeah, it's a really cool area, like really cool little feature about here is that there's these big volcanic sections. The reef shelf here is all just volcanic rock. And yeah, you get these really cool little structures in the reef that form these massive like little geysers and blowholes that pop up every time there's a swell popping in. But yeah, it's quite a cool reef. It's something very unusual compared to what I'm used to in Sydney. But yeah, let's take a look at it. Just go in over the reef section. It's low tide at the moment, so pretty safe along here. These little geyser points in the rock. And every time the wave kicks up, you get yourself a little bubble. Goes down to that hole right there. Another big well just over there. Because it's like a tectonic island instead of volcanic, maybe. Like,
Do you want...
Alright, so last little video log. I am progressively getting barbecued in the sun here, as you can tell by my ever pinkening complexion. But I figured I'd just do a last little quick one just to summarize up the last bits of the whale guide course, and yeah, my last little day out here in the capital. So pretty much to wrap things up, we finished up with a bit about the behavior and social structures of the humpback whales, what they're doing while they're up here, the different sort of groupings we might find them in, and just how we behave around them. Then we looked at a lot of body language, so how humpback whales behave, how they show certain behaviors, categorizing, what's a relaxed and normal behavior, what's a social behavior, what's something you might see in a stressed out or defensive behavior. These are all things that are really good to, also educate our guests about, what to look out for and what sort of behaviors and what they mean. But also for a guide, looking into what's a behavior of a whale that's calm and what's the behavior of a whale that's stressed out. And our ideal goal is all of our interactions here, we don't want to be causing any undue stress. We want to make sure that if we enter the water around a whale, we're leaving them just as they found them, having as minimal impact as possible. That's sort of the goal of all the tourism industry here around whale swimming, is we want to have as minimal impact and basically preserve this population up here and allow it to flourish like it has been in the past couple decades. So yeah, pretty much just all about that, getting across all the ethical stuff about guiding and learning that body language and how it's appropriate for our whale swimming. Then we moved on into the next day after that, which was a couple of guys from Ministry of Tourism came up, and they would kind of come up, run through all the rules and regulations for us, and also administer our final exam. Obviously no filming of the internal rules and regulations, and also no filming of the final exam for obvious reasons. But pretty much this year there's not too many changes to the rules. There's one main change really. For the most most people who come up here and do whale swimming, it means really not much change at all. But for a few of us to come up and do a bit of diving around, it does mean one little change, which means this. So I actually stuffed up at this point and just kind of misworded the rule wrong. So figured I would just do a bit of a voiceover to clarify. So the big change for this season is that free diving, duck diving, and any form of diving toward any whale is now prohibited. That means swimmers and guides will only be allowed below the surface of the water no more than 3 meters. Anything deeper than that is now considered free diving or diving toward the whale and is now no longer allowed. And now back to Tonga. What does this change? Not a lot really. Like last season, I probably left the surface about 7 times in nearly 2 months. You don't really have to leave the surface to have a good interaction with a whale. It mainly comes down to over the past couple of years, we've had a bunch of people doing really irresponsible things around the whales. Luckily, no one's been hurt, but it does create these scenarios where whales have been getting distressed and moving off unintentionally due to someone essentially diving down and using the whale as a photo prop. So unfortunately, that's a behavior pattern that just keeps emerging season to season, and it's actually good that the ministry's put a clear cut. We're just going to put a line in the sand here and say no. So yeah, positively looking forward, it's good for the whales, and realistically you don't need to leave the surface to see a whale anyway, so happy days. So yeah, we ran through that, went through the exam, and yeah, it's a big changes for the new season coming forward. We've got some big groups coming in. It's my last day out here, so we got the ferry across from Airway yesterday. Came in last night, lots of logging stuff and cattle on board the truck, but pretty much busy ferry getting out, last ferry of the day. And typically, right as we arrived back here on the main island, a couple of the boys back on Airwa sent us a lovely photo pointing out that the first whale of the season had arrived in the channel out front, which is crazy considering we're still in early June up here. We weren't really expecting to see a lot of them until sort of later in the month, but yeah, it's a really good sign about the health of the population. We're seeing larger numbers every season coming back, so pretty much getting really stoked for this season. If it's as good as last year, I cannot wait. So moving into where do I go from now? I'm going to be back in Sydney, running a few courses, getting all the teaching, getting everyone certified up the next couple of weeks, and then yeah, I come back over here sort of late July, early August. Still had to book my flight in, and then I'm figuring I might get the ferry up this time, do the long trip up. It's about 16-17 hours give or take depending on the ocean conditions, but I figured it could be a little fun trip to get my way up to the island this year. So yeah, pretty much that's it for now. Got a couple hours till I get my flight out. I'm gonna go smash some keke, and we'll go from there. So catch you guys soon. Cheers.